Hey Bilal.
Hey Tilly.
Who've we got on today?
We've got our first ever festival creator, Lee Martin from Lakefest.
Ooh, this sounds exciting.
Hopefully chat about what it takes to run a festival, how he's pulled it all together. He's got a book out. It's called Festival of Love and Pain. He's going to chat a little bit about that, hopefully. So hopefully we've got quite a bit to go through.
Yeah, please make sure you send this podcast to a friend. Get some more people listening.
This is Festival Sounds. I'm Bilal.
And I'm Tilly.
And I'm Lee Martin of Lakefest.
Thank you for joining us, Lee.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Can you tell us about what Lakefest is and how you ended up being the person creating this thing?
Well, it's pretty organic, really. It's been a wild journey, which is why I wrote the book. It's a true family festival that was born out of a cider festival. We had a bar, cafe on a commercial campsite called Croft Farm in Gloucestershire in 2011, and this bar had a decking area into the lake. It was beautiful, stunning place, but no one knew about it. So we decided, three of us, that we would do a music festival and book the Wurzels, who are like cool as hell in the West Country, and we thought, we'll do 100 different ciders or something, bag-in-box ciders, and we'll just and we'd run outside bars, so we knew kind of that stuff, but we'd never had a clue about me. I mean, I didn't understand what backline was. I had no idea. The stage was a trailer. The steps up to it were hay bales. It was completely ramshackle.
Let's pretend for a moment that I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I know what that is either.
No, we were complete. Not cowboys, because we did things properly, but we were completely out of our depth, really. But we wanted to put this thing on the map. We were very fortunate. So on the 11th of April 2011, or was it the 14th? No, it was actually the 9th of April 2011. It was boiling hot. Like, it was the hottest April day ever at the time. There's been one hotter since. And about 2,000 people turned up. We weren't expecting 2,000 people. They turned up and drank an absolute shed load of cider. We sold 17,000 pints, I think, that we were buying for cheap and selling at £3.50 a pint, whatever it was. And I thought, shit, this is easy. This is such an easy way to make money. Right, let's crack on. And we started planning the following year, and that's when Lakefest was born. 2012, we booked like Athlete, Dodgy, Chesney Hawks. Who else did we have? It was a very solid lineup, with lots of names, but very heritage. And in fact, some festival person in the media, and I'd love to find his name now, wrote something that was really quite offensive. He put, "Is this the shittest festival lineup of all time?" He put on social media. Which,
no, that should so be your branding now.
He did that.
When people use that.
Yeah, he did that. It was really quite offensive. We had Top Loader, Reef, Three Daft Monkeys. Yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it was cool. But
that sounds great.
I'm not the coolest guy. So anyway, we did this.
There was a moment where I only played Athlete in the car.
It's the best.
They had those couple of albums when they were really on their game. They were incredible.
They were amazing too. Well, they only ended up doing it actually because the Levelers were booked, and the fiddle player knackered his elbow, so he couldn't play. So Athlete were like a last minute replacement. They were really good value, and they rocked. And I stood at the front, and I guess that was where I got hooked, because I just stood in between the mojo and the stage, just in front of these guys, and it just blew me away, the energy and the sound, and I loved that album, and it was like, right. I mean, and anyways, we lost an absolute shit ton of money that year, to the point I couldn't. The last person to get paid was my very good friend from Inexpress, the beer supplier, because everyone else gets paid up front with festivals generally, as you know, because so many go bust and there's so many charlatans in the game. So everyone wanted paying, but the guy that supplied the alcohol did it on invoice, but there wasn't enough money at the end because we lost 50 or 60. I can't remember. It was a lot of money at the time, and I had to ring his boss up, my best friend's boss, and say, "Listen, I can't pay you, and we're going to have to pay you over a year." And they went for it, fortunately. But I didn't want to see it as a loss. It was about building a brand. And I thought, right, I'm going to look at that loss as not a loss. It's investing in the brand going forwards. And next year we just need to be better. And it's just grown year on year, because we've done a good job. And now we're in a play. I think we've got like 9 stages now. And it's proper. We're in a very good place with it.
That's amazing.
You went from a couple of thousand people. Where are you at now?
Well, it's interesting, right? So we're licensed to 19,999. It's at Eastnor Castle, so it's in the deer park where the big chill was. So we inherited this beautiful site, and it's a very well known thing, and that helped us, But we don't sell that many tickets because, as you're probably aware, right, you've got artist guests. So we've got over 300 bands or something over the weekend. They all bring a +1. Every band member brings a +1. Then you've got like Western Cider bring 50 of their staff. So there's a lot of people that aren't paying to actually come, but. And when I've brought external people in to help, because it's kind of out of my skill set now, you're responsible for 20,000 people's safety and welfare on site, and then you've got to be responsible, and it's a big deal, because if something goes wrong, obviously I'll go to prison, and I'm it's not a nice place to be, really. So we get external help. I've brought professionals in, I would say, and they're all like, "You give away far too many tickets. Yes, too many people coming here free." But for me, that adds to the love, and that's why Lakefest has thrived so much, I think, because number one, we're very fair with the alcohol prices. We're like £6 a pint because it come outside a festival, and we want people to drink for 4 days and have fun, and I don't want people to feel cheated. Like when I go sometimes to big events, it's £8.50 a pint, and I just think just bang it. It just puts out. It just makes you not want to drink. It just makes you think I'm being ripped off. Where we don't do that. And the other thing we've done is. We just charge like 160 quid a ticket at the moment, but the early birds were like 99 quid. But that includes booking fee, camping, parking, 5 days at the festival. There's no like add-ons, no bullshit. It's not like you get to check out, you've got to have toilets, you've got to have camping, and then suddenly you start a £300 headline cost, end up with 500 quid.
That is amazing. I'm just in shock.
Yeah, that's true.
How great value that sounds.
How can you do it? Because I was on your website. How can you do it for less than 170 quid?
Well, we're totally independent, and it's just me and a team of guys. There's no one really behind us. But the thing really that we're very lean because we haven't got massive overheads. Like we do the marketing house. We do everything pretty much in house. So. Eastnor have been very reasonable with us because it worked for them. They wanted a nice family festival because it was in line with the castle, and they do tours of the castle. So they've been fair with the rent. We're fair with the bar. Don't get me wrong, it's been a massive struggle, and as you'll know from the book, it's been horrendous, really, the journey. But we've grown organically, and we've built a lot of love and a really nice vibe and energy in the festival arena because through just being fair and being nice, and all our customers are pretty much incumbent. A testament to that is that dreaded COVID year when everyone cancelled, and it was just shocking, wasn't it, for hospitality and festivals.
It was a real knife edge moment for the industry. It was, and to be honest, mate, I didn't think it'd ever come back. Because I knew the supply chain was knackered, as you'll know from reading the book. Our main stage didn't turn up, and we had Tom Jones booked, and he left. Luckily, he did it, but I thought the industry was completely knackered. But when when that happened, because our customers wanted the festival to go on, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of loyalty. Where I guess that the bigger festivals where it's a younger audience, that they're not getting that buy-in from their customers. So they probably had, 80% refunds maybe, where we had, it was about 100 grand's worth of refunds in COVID, which was manageable, just about, survived. It was horrible. It was a really horrible time, but it was scary watching the refunds come through because I thought if it goes over that, we're totally done. We're out, and it'd be such a shame because it was completely out of our control. To go back to something that you mentioned, you were stood there, peak of the festival, in front of the crowd. There must have been a moment where you thought, "I did this. My idea has snowballed, and we're here now."
Yeah, I can't imagine standing in a field filled with hundreds of happy people and being like, yeah, this is all on me. That must be amazing.
Do you then have this affection to the thing? And when something like COVID happens, you've got all that emotion at play. Do you feel a sense of almost love to this brand? It's more than just a festival, it's a thing. We'll cover your book, and I've got loads of questions to ask. But can you separate yourself from the festival?
Well, it's funny. Well, it's funny. So I get into the arena first thing when it opens at 10 a.m. and I leave at sort of 2:30 a.m. every day. And I'm there living it. I don't have a radio anymore, so I'm just. But people know where I am because I'm usually at the main bar, in front of the stage, or in the cocktail bar, whatever. Like I hang out.
Halfway through the book, you make the point, can you make do without sleep? That's quite obvious.
But other people, and this is the thing, isn't it? Like back in the day, we were winging it. I'll openly admit we were absolutely winging it. You can't afford to wing it when it's big, because if something does go wrong, you're in deep trouble. And the council in Hereford are particularly, they're particularly. I was going to say draconian, that's not fair, but they're very rigorous in terms of the rules, and they come in and they inspect, and they are, I've been threatened with prosecution from the council for breaches of, submitting paperwork late and stuff like that, which I don't think you get in other councils, but they're on it because the big chill was there. And actually, them being on it is the best thing that ever happened to me, because it's made us run a properly responsible and safe event. Like we are on it, all the teams there are totally engaged in the event, but they're running it. I'm not running the event really once it's on. So I'm the guy that's taking the risk, like booking the bands, which we're doing at the moment, thinking, will that band sell tickets? Oh God, they've got to sell tickets, and looking at it, and when we get into that Deer Park, we all sort of help muck in with the build of the thing. But once the event, people start arriving, I hand it over to the professionals, the security team, the steward people, the council are there inspecting us, and it's all done very properly. And I'm not having fun, because I'm always aware of what's going on, but I'm more PR, I suppose, and customer service. Just seeing everything, talking to everyone really subtly. I don't necessarily tell people that it's my show. In fact, I very rarely do that. I put a hoodie on and just act like a punter.
Blend in. Yeah. You mentioned like loyalty from the customers. Do you find you get like the same people coming back every year? Is it kind of families coming back every year and their kids are growing up? Like what kind of people go?
Mad thing. That's the mad thing. That is the thing that's really like we're having to deal with, and it's a bit of a challenge, because when it started in 2011, there's kids coming as babies with their parents that are now coming on their own.
That's incredible.
It's mad, isn't it? And so we're having to, because it does shift. Like we had Rudimental on the Friday night this year, and it was noticeably a younger audience. Where it's very much Middle England. Lakefest is very, very. It's not your typical festival audience. It's I don't know, accountants and teachers and stuff. It's a lovely, lovely, friendly audience. It's just an amazing audience. But we are getting kids. People go, oh, it's changing. But you've got to accept that time moves on, and the kids can't. We don't genuinely. We've never really had any violence at Lakefest, or there is genuinely a massive love and just a beautiful community that's there. And,
I love the idea of someone like who was taken to the festival as a kid, then taking their kids there. Like I think that sounds really nice.
We're going to Rudimental, and Mum and Dad are going, what?
What's Rudimental?
We've had Lakefest babies. We've had a baby born and a baby conceived. We've had the lot, yeah. So,
sorry, just on that, is that panic? Is that, oh my God, this thing is happening? It's amazing, but how do you have a plan for this?
We gave her and her family a free ticket for the next year because she had to leave halfway through. But I mean, it's a bit hardcore, that, isn't it? Coming pregnant to a festival, really, knowing you're going to give birth.
Is that in the risk assessment somewhere?
No, no, it's not. It should be now. No, but it was obviously you've got.
But you dealt with it, so who needs to write a plan for it? You know what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Cue all of our pregnant listeners buying a ticket now, because they're like, oh, we'll get a free one next year.
Free ticket.
Yeah. That's pretty out there. It was pretty out there when that happened, really. I was like, what? Oh, my God. Yeah,
so Tilly and I have worked a lot of festivals, and you do hear stuff come through on the radio. We've never heard someone's just had a baby in the campsite. that would be a new one.
Someone's going into labour. I'd be like, huh?
Yeah, I don't think. I'm normally pretty calm. Tilly and I, we've handled some medicals. I'm not sure I could handle that one.
No, not me.
It's not something you hear at Boomtown. It's definitely not.
No. But see, that's one of the fortunate things about the weekend we chose, because we did actually start being in May back in the day, but it clashed at Croft Farm with groups of school kids being there on activity holidays, and it didn't quite work having a festival with loads of kids about. So we moved to August when it was school holidays, and it didn't matter. And we picked. In fact, I don't think I picked. I think Martin, one of my colleagues, picked the second weekend in August every year, which clashes with Boardmasters and Boomtown. And I was like, at the time, I remember thinking, are you mad? Like, why would you go on the same weekend as two of the biggest monsters in the I think at the time, Boomtown was number 2 and Boardmasters was, I'm like, we're up against the big boys here. What are you doing? It was the right choice, because it does take away selling tickets to a load of under 18s or rite of passage people, which, look, that's a cool thing. I'm not going to knock that, because the event, my daughter went to Redden and Leeds this year. She's going to Boardmaster next year, and I get it's a cool thing. But what we're offering is a little bit different.
There's a space for everyone, and that's maybe not the space for them.
Yeah, so it isn't competition, but what it means is that we don't have a lot of younger kids. It is a genuine family festival. It is, and I can show you the stats. It's just... it's families, and it's true, and that's kind of how it works. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's obviously lots of single people that come too, but the hardcore of the people is family.
How do you pick that artist then that caters to your audience and at the same time helps you evolve? There's always a trade-off.
There is. So what we did, and this kind of happened by accident, on the first night we do like a legend slot. So we had Tom Jones, we had Johnny Marr another year. So we always have someone that's very heritage but cool.
We're not going to do spoilers, but there is a part of the book where you talk about almost killing Tom Jones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was
buy the book. Look, we're not sponsored here. Lee's come out of his own time. Where this isn't a promo. But if you want to know that story, you got to buy the book.
Story.
Yeah, that was pretty horrendous, to be honest. That whole episode was not good. Nearly pushed me over the edge, really. But anyway, so Tom Jones, we go for like a legend on Thursday. That was awful.
National hero, Tom Jones.
It was awful. Friday, and then Friday we always go for like a dance act. So we've had Rudimental, Left Field, Faithless DJ set. Friday night's always a bit dancey. Saturday we've always gone for a bit more heavy, like Manic Street Preachers. We had one year.
Had the Libertines last year, didn't we?
Had the Libertines, and he was really freaking cool, man. I've never met the guy. And it's funny, isn't it, with humans, because you read stuff in the newspapers, and I wasn't sure what to make of him, and I'd watched that documentary, and I thought, this guy, he actually gave perception that he may not live long, which is terrible. He said, I can feel death coming. I think in that. Have you watched the documentary?
I haven't seen it. No.
I don't think I have.
Oh Christ, it's good. I mean, he's not a wild man anymore. Well, this is a year ago or whatever it was, and I watched it and thought I'd love to book him. And we did. It's like, what?
That must be such a pinch me moment.
The thing was, I thought the Libertines, we didn't, again, the East Newcastle's in the middle of nowhere. It is literally, there's no phone reception there. It's in the middle of, there's nothing there. So I think people coming into, it's not somewhere you sell day tickets. And I thought we don't really want to sell day tickets, to be honest, but because it's hard, as you'll know, like festivals going bankrupt left, right and centre, we sell day tickets to survive. And that's like that gets you through, selling day tickets. But we don't, it's not something we like to promote too much. But I thought we'd sell more on Libertines, because to me, the Libertines are massive. Like they're just one of the coolest bands going. They're massive.
Big name, yeah.
They are massive, but I think because of the geographical location, and we're not in a city or anything, I think it's difficult to get people to come out for the day. And we took camping away. We used to include camping, you see, with the day tickets, so people could get drunk, camp, and then go the next day. But that got abused massively, where people just leave their tent and just stay for the weekend. So we stopped that, and we try and encourage people to have a weekender ticket. I think a day ticket's 99 quid and a weekender ticket was 169. So why don't you just pay the rest and stay?
And look, compared to a lot of festivals, that's a pretty good weekend price. I don't think in the last few years I've booked a festival sub 200 quid.
No, I'm thinking off the top of my head, I can't think of a day ticket that I think all the day tickets I've looked at are more expensive than your full weekend ticket. Like, that is really impressive.
Well, we have a lot of competition around here, and we're on the same sort of planet and the same price as our competition, because you can't be. We're probably, and that's another thing about doing well with the festival. We've never disappointed. We've always punched above our weight with the lineup. And I want to get away from spending a shit ton of money on a headliner, because they don't always sell the tickets, and the prices are becoming prohibitive. I mean, the prices is becoming crazy, and I want to become more like a Shambhala that we talked about earlier, more of a rounded festival that people are going to be at the event. Do you know what I mean?
So again, there's a balance between names and names that are familiar might be from, say, the 90s or the 2000s, and then the pure talent but unknowns up-and-coming bands. How do you strike that balance?
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, so I mean, that's how out of touch I am, really. I mean, so our young up-and-coming thing was McFly on a Sunday, we're looking at who would
be all over that.
Yeah, we're looking at like getting busted, so that's kind of like the up and coming. That said, we're trying to evolve slowly. Do you know what I mean? To cater for the younger audience. But just going back to Libertines, I must say this, because this is shouldn't really admit it, but this never happened before in all the years that we have been doing Lakefest. But the main stage went down at like 10 o'clock on the Saturday night of electricity. God. Yeah, oh, Christ, mate, I that was a panic, because I thought, well, he's got 5 minutes, the electrician. I didn't bother like running to get a radio to say the main stage has run out, it's gone down on electricity, because clearly everyone knew.
Everyone could tell.
And I thought, shit, he's got probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get this back on before there's a freaking riot. And they did. It all came back on, and in some ways, it made me quite not happy, but I was like, on the Sunday morning when people asked me about it, I was like, well, that just shows we are independent and we are fallible, and we do make mistakes, and things do happen, but it's how we deal with them. But Pete Doherty, anyway, he basically sat down, had a cigarette, got his dog on the stage, went and spoke to all the kids at the front in the Mojos, played some acoustic stuff, told a couple of jokes, was just cool as a cucumber, where I think some musicians might have said, fuck this is a bunch of cowboys here, this is a load of farmers, I'm off,
That's amazing.
Start up the limo, I'm out.
Well, fair play to him.
That sounds so special as well.
And the guys that were filming it got it all on film, and I love that man. And I like I said, I love the Libertines anyway. But I think I was like 26, and I had a mullet then. I was in my fade. I wasn't grey, old, and I used to love listening to them, and they did us proud. And the thing, that's one thing about all the bands that do come to Lakefest. I know Clean Bandit came one year, and they came away just saying that was just magic. Scout of Girls did the same, went online and posted something just amazing about us, and Johnny Marr's done the same. There's so many people that come and just like, shit, this is cool. I've not even heard of this thing, and it's proper. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. How do you? Obviously, you've mentioned that there's some beef going on.
yeah.
You've mentioned that
anyone would think we've only got one mic.
My turn. I'm just shoving you out the way.
Our listeners are used to this, and then I always back down. Tilly, roll with it.
Yeah. So obviously, multiple times we've said it's a family festival, lots of families. How do you get the families to come back? Is there specific things that you've got for the kids? Is it just like the vibe? How do the families just keep coming back?
Well, so again, so we do. My best friend was a very good BMXer, very famous BMXer. And he paralysed himself from the neck down. So we've got a lot of connections with BMX. So we have a big BMX display, which is we get some really world-class riders doing that stuff. And when people from normal life see kids flipping a BMX 3 times or whatever. It's like quite out there. So we have a big BMX play that's running throughout the day. There's jugglers and circus people. Obviously, there's a kids tent with all different activities. We have a tent with wrestling in it, which people were like. The tent lady that we used was like, "I'm not having wrestling in my tent. I can't believe I'm wrestling at a music festival. You're a complete idiot. I thought you were all right, but you're a cretin. What are you doing?" And then she saw the spirit in which the wrestling is like acting, isn't it? It's completely, and it's all showpiece, and she loves it.
I'm picturing like WWE in my head.
It's like that, and we have the little man that comes in.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's completely random, but no, yeah, well, it is random, and the whole thing has sort of grown organically. We a lot of people don't like the fun fair, but because Banter's Fun Fair supports from day one and gave us the generators and our electric, there's like a fun fair area. There's a hippie like Willow yoga area, which most things have. We've had the Red Devils jumping out of planes and coming down, landing in the arena, which was quite wild. There's been loads of things that we do for families to make them want to come back. But the other thing, like we allow people to have families to have barbecues in the campsites. We don't limit the amount of food and booze they can put in their car. We do, you can book a pitch where you park next to your tent to make it more comfortable and better for families, you know. Look, the thing is, I think with it was done, Lakefest was born outside a festival. It was done for fun, to promote somewhere. The following year was done because we thought it'd be easy, and we really enjoyed doing it. And there's more to it than I was actually inspected by HMRC. It's in the book as well. But in 2019 it started, and it's fortunately just finished. It's a long time, man, to be investigated and inspected. And the lady that was doing the investigation said, "I want to know why, if Mr. Martin makes no money, why he continues doing this festival." That was what she said, and my accountant said, "Can you answer that?" And I said, "It's about more than money. It's not about the money. It's about the love." And we've lost a few people on the way in those 14 years. Our head steward, a guy called Geordie, died of leukemia. You know, we've lost. Sorry, I'm getting really deep here, but my point is, it's not always been about the money. It's not about the commercials, really. I mean, it is now getting that way, unfortunately, because it's hard. It's hard to make it all work, as you can see, because the festival landscape has changed massively. So we're having to be a bit more aggressive commercially, I suppose. But we never had to be, because it was all built on love, and you know, we had volunteer. You know, people come and volunteer, and we front it with volunteers rather than security, because it's a nicer, softer front end, you know, and everything. But the whole thing has been it's evolved organically. So we are where we are because of various things that's happened, you know. And so the wrestling guy just emailed me, and I thought he was quite funny. And I was just like,
if I ever received an email from a wrestler, my definite first answer would be yes.
I was like, yeah, that's fucking really weird, actually. Yeah, that could work. You know, and it has. You know, people love it, and it's called the Leg Drop Lounge, and we share that with a guy that does disco bingo throughout the day, and it's just random, man. Yeah, it's just completely random. But also we have a dance tent which we booked Paul Oakenfold this year, who, you know, is someone that I'm very proud to have on the poster, and very proud to say that we've promoted, because he is a legend, you know, Polari.
Not Norman J as well?
Yeah, MBE. And that's cool. Of course. Yeah. I got told off for not saying that.
You get some names, you get some bands. We're only video and our listeners can't see this, but the background, you've got all of your festival posters from previous years. Yeah. I've been through them. You've had some names come through that festival, and there must be you apologise for this, and I don't think you should, but you telling us what makes you tick is the story that we like to tell. It's the premise of our podcast is people who make up festivals, be it in the audience, be it traders. Here, you're the first organizer we've spoken to, but just understanding why on earth would you do this thing, this one event of the year, and put your whole life into this one weekend? Incredible pressure. You talk about it in the book, lack of sleep, the financial strain. I think that's really interesting to us and to our listeners. written a book, and the book is Festival of Love and Pain, and you've been kind enough to send a copy. There's some anecdotes in there. Wow. It was a really interesting read. I spent this weekend going through it. To start with, why write a book?
Well, to be perfectly honest, mate, it's been that much of a horrendous journey, really. Like it's been hard. I'm not gonna. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret any of it because it's been a wonderful ride, and sometimes I have to pinch myself. Like I talk about it a lot. But when James in 2019 did, Tim sang "Oh Sit Down" and crowd surfed out into the crowd and got a kid on the stage sat next to him and sang this song. I cried, and it just makes you just like pinch with how the fucking hell did I land here?
I've just got goosebumps just from you saying it as well.
It's true, and so, there's been some moments, where I just think, shit, man, how the fuck did this happen? And it's been a mega journey, but. Well, look at me, man. I'm broke. I look probably 20 years older than I am.
There are some photos in the book. And
I've got full head of hair.
Some of them you definitely look younger.
Dark hair.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's definitely pushed me.
Bill, you're not supposed to insult the guests.
Oh, it's just true.
Nice. So normally Tilly's roasting me for being old. No, but it talks about your journey, and you talk about actually it's a slog, and Love and Pain is probably quite a succinct way to sum it up, I guess.
Yeah, it really has, but it was very good timing because the guy that helped me write it, who was my neighbour, I wanted to finish it after this year's festival because I thought there might be some more content, and he's like, no, mate, just do it now because otherwise you're just going to carry on, and I'm really glad we stopped when we did because this year was a massive triumph. It was the first year this year where nothing went wrong. Like there was a few issues, to be fair, with the water supply. Someone plumbed in a illegal tap and the water drained. Like we've been building up the water supply, 100,000 litres of water for 2 weeks, off a tap, off these big, filling up these big bladders. And they drained the whole lot on the Friday night, overnight, some wanker.
Oh my God.
And that meant there was no showers in the morning because we do free showers for everyone because, again, we're catering to like Middle England and people expect that. And
I don't like to think of myself as Middle England, but I do like a festival shower.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And people don't, but everyone loves a shower, don't they? And yeah, the showers didn't work, and the running water, it was a problem. But apart from that, which was really out of control, it was out of control of all the organisers, there was no issues and it went really well. And we had Ollie Murs actually on the Sunday afternoon, who, being brutally honest, I wasn't overwhelmingly like it was a little bit poppy for me, and I wasn't kind of comfortable with doing something where the guy won a TV show, like do you know the whole cow thing or whatever. And I'm probably talking about a turn here, but I wasn't like it doesn't set my world on fire. I prefer the Libertines or people that have fought to get there. But I'm telling you, he was absolutely superb. Like different gravy compared to probably anything we've ever had before. I think he'd been touring with Take That, so he was just come off the back of that tour, and he was on fire. Like he just it was amazing. And I stood there watching, thinking, "Fucking hell, this guy!" And everyone loved it. And he even, there's guys that you see on social media when we announce, going, "Oh, where's Richard Ashcroft or where's this?" And they want this real indie thing. That were disappointed that we made that decision because it's not quite what we'd done before. But the thing was, we'd done McFly the year before and it had really worked. It really, really worked. The crowd loved it. They were really cool guys too. So we went with Ollie Murs and it worked so well. And it just shows like you don't have to be so cool. Do you know what I mean? It's just sometimes things just work, don't they?
It's about the show. It's about the spectacle. And well, I'm not a Craig David fan, but I stumbled into a Craig David performance, and you know what? I had a good time.
Craig David knows how to rock. So.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you see this and you think, "Oh, it's not for me," and it turns out it is. Now, would I go see him again? Maybe not. But did I have a good time? Absolutely. You're getting to the heart of it, which is you're putting this on for your audience, which is changing. You're not putting it on for for you anymore. You might have done originally, but
yeah,
it's the landscape changes when you've got 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Do you think that your top three, if you could have anyone headline, would your top three be the same as the people that go to the festival? Do you think? Do you think you have the similar kind of dream headliners, or do you think that you can never make everyone happy?
I don't think it would. My favourite band is Massive Attack, to be honest, which I don't think they do. But they do their own shows, don't they? And really high-end stuff. They did Montreux. I went to actually watch them at Montreux Jazz Festival.
Yeah, they're selling out stadiums right now, aren't they? They were in Liverpool, I think, last weekend.
Yeah, they were. Good knowledge, that is. Yeah, that's very good knowledge. Yes, they were. Yeah, they're my favourite. That's impressive, mate, that you know that.
But then also you've got that they're reinventing themselves a little bit as well. And because do you want to hear a band do the same set in the same way as they did 20 years ago? Some people would say absolutely yes. Personally, for me, that's not my cup of tea.
No, I don't think it is mine either. It is funny though, because I go and watch shows to get a vibe, and I went to go and watch Paul Weller the other day at Cheltenham Racecourse, and I think it was different to watching him at a festival, and I've seen him play festivals, and it was stunning. You know, like he really blew the crowd away. And I think it is different going to see someone at a gig and going to see someone at a festival. I think they perform and behave differently, personally. I don't know if that's just my feeling. I know Clean Bandit, when they came to Lakefest, they really, really upped their game, you know, and again, that was a magical thing. It was truly magical, that moment when they played.
There's something about festival audiences' choice. When you buy a ticket, you go to that band. Okay, you've set out, you've got your babysitter, you've got transport in just to see that band. When you're at a festival, they're up against two or three others. So I think there's another pressure there. You've got new listeners who you need to win over as well. Look, what do I know about performing on stage? But my guess is...
As a performer myself now.
As someone who occasionally uses a microphone, I've got some knowledge, right?
As someone who loves karaoke.
You see what I mean, Lee? You see what she does to me?
Little dicks.
But I get that. They can just walk off and see another band after 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's definitely a difference in my opinion. But like the bands, when they come and play the festival, they just up it. I've never really thought about it, actually. I've never really thought about it, but you're right, I suppose. They're playing to an audience that haven't necessarily bought a ticket to see them individually, so they need to raise their game. I always thought, to be honest, it was part of, for me, like when James, I said about that show earlier, but when they rocked up in that 2019 year, we'd suffered a horrendous flood. You know, like it was knee deep in water and people were sliding all over. It was bad. You know, the tour manager said to me, he goes, they drove down, because at the Deer Park at East Norwood, you kind of drive along the road that used to be the road to Hereford, that's the entrance to the castle, and it overlooks the whole Deer Park, so you can see everything, and it's an expanse of stages, tents, and all sorts. But it was just mud. It was just mud, like literally. And the band had said, good God, it resembles a psalm or something like that. You know, we'll put on a show for these guys because they've waited till Sunday night to watch us. And he said they're going to put on a show for you. And they really, but James always put on a show. Like you can go and, if you've watched James, they're probably they're one of the greatest bands ever, probably, in my opinion. You know, they're always good, but they really were very, very good for us. We'll probably have them back one day. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, mate.
I'm sure. No, absolutely. I think for what you've told us today and what I've read in the book, running a festival is a story about resilience. There is so much. I mean, the latest one you just mentioned, a flood, you know, just so unpredictable. There must come a point, surely, where you think, how much more can the festival world throw at me? Because going through that book, it's thrown a lot at you already.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot, and I'm hoping, you know, that those days are behind us now. Which is why, you know, I was trying to allude to earlier, but I didn't actually get there by saying that the book was written at the right time, because it's the end of the struggle, if you like, and I'm hoping that going forward we have a lot nicer time, and We should do, because we're kind of there now. You know what I mean? That we've done the scrapping, we've done the fighting, we've done the winging it, trying to save money, cut corners and stuff. But, we're doing everything properly, and I feel we've got a lovely hardcore audience. We sold a lot of tickets without even announcing the band. We haven't announced the band yet. We're still selling tickets. Which takes years, and I see, I see people setting up festivals. And I think fair play, man. Good for you, because it's a real thing. But I see people, putting these massive lineups out on year one. It's okay, man. If you're Live Nation, you've got a shitload of money behind you. You can do that because you've got the market power. But I see people around here where I live, in the 3 counties, set up festivals, and they looking at the lineup, thinking, "Oh Christ, they've spent $300,000 on that lineup." They're never going to sell those tickets. It's just not going to. Year one, you have to grow organically and patiently. If you haven't got loads of money, if you've got shitloads of money, and it doesn't matter, you can afford to lose a lot of money for a number of years. You're okay. But if you haven't, which most people don't, particularly if you're independent, you've got to be patient. It takes time. You've got to be patient with it and let your audience grow. And you've also got to do a good job. People have got to come, have a good time. They've got to feel safe. That they've got to be entertained. That it's got to be orderly in some manner. And like I said, you've got to be fair. You can't rip people off on the bar. You've got to make sure that all your food vendors are varied and fair with their pricing. You've got to make sure that the people doing the entertainment in terms of the kids area are really engaged with the kids and get it. They're not smoking weed or whatever. It's a
They've got to buy into the brand, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's a crazy world, people are strange, aren't they? And you've got to get it right. And we've not nailed it, but we've fought to get there.
But you're thinking about these things.
Yeah.
And I've been to festivals where it does feel like nobody has thought about it at all, or they're indifferent to it. It's an uncontrolled environment in many respects. If you're thinking about these things, and it comes across, right? We hadn't met before. It comes across that you really care, and you care about the festival experience. And I, as a just a casual festival goer, that's what I care about. And that you're thinking about it is a huge thing, because I'm not saying the festivals who have gone to pot or have gone bust weren't, but I think there was a lot who just were going through the motions.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one, I care because my name's on it and my family and friends go, and I know lots of people that go, and I want it to be amazing, and I owe it to the people that have helped us over the years make it what it is, and the people that are now no longer with us to make it what it is. But also, it's just very important for me that we get it right. It's got to work, and we've got to be fair. And I actually genuinely handle every. So I think after this year's festival, we had 72 pieces of feedback, which mainly were complaints about the water. A few people complained about the toilets. The first time I've ever had complaints about the toilets, but I personally take care of every complaint. So I'm learning and seeing what the problems are and make sure we don't do it again. Because I think you can get away with making a mistake one year or something going wrong, but you can't continue to make the same mistake, because then you look shit. And we've learned, and I've learned, and I'm very fortunate because I've got a really good, loyal team of people that also do it. They're not doing it for the money; they're doing it for the love too. So we're all in it together. Do you know what I mean? And we're all pulling in the same direction, and we've got a really nice team. And I'm remarkably proud and happy with what we've done, mate.
It's amazing to hear how passionate you and clearly your whole team are. It's so inspiring. Obviously, we mentioned Massive Attack is your favourite band. Who else would be your dream kind of headliners if you could pick anyone? You can even go living or dead if you want. Who would it be?
Yeah. Well, I think to be honest, I was saying to the guys, I think actually that with the price of the headliners are now, it's becoming difficult to put good headlines, particularly with like the big boys like Live Nation and stuff. Massively putting exclusivity clauses in and taking all the big acts that people want to pay to see. It's becoming more and more difficult. I said to one of the guys that helps me book the bands, it won't be long. And again, I might be absolutely off my head saying this, but until you have like the ABBA tribute thing, done with lights and you have like a not Dead Fest sounds really awful, but you have like
yeah, I know what you mean though.
No, do you know what I mean? I just say that. I just say that loud. Do you know what I mean? Like you have
somebody listening's like, this is a good idea.
but that's where it's going. I think that's you'll start seeing the festivals where they have a show that's done through holograms or where the sound's incredible. I don't know how it will work, but some of the bands it's becoming too prohibitive. You can't book them because they're too much money. I obviously love Oasis. I love Stone Roses are one of my favourite bands too. We've always wanted Fatboy Slim, and we book Woody Cook every year as like a tribute to Fatboy, and he's a mate. Have you ever watched Woody Cook?
I haven't. No,
I've not either.
Well, you need to go and do that because he obviously he's Fatboy and so his son, but he he really can get an audience going. He's
really
insane. Yeah, and he's a really nice dude too. But we haven't managed to get his dad yet. But maybe one day that'd be a dream for me.
As your way in, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't done for that reason. Funnily enough, he came to the festival when he was young.
Oh, wow.
When he was, So we it's funny because you build up these relationships with people that you think, earlier in your life, I'd never know someone like that, and they become your friends, and
that's really cool.
Have you ever had any famous people go to the festival?
We had.
Sorry, this is probably so off topic, but I'm just so nosy.
No. Well, we had Sarah Beanie. We had Sarah Beanie. Off the TV. So her son's in a band called Entitled Son. So she came last year. I believe Crispin Mills from Cool Shake has been. Yeah, the owner of Eastnor Castle has some sort of not famous but very wealthy guests and stuff.
You're like, come and buy a lot of cider.
yeah, and I know for a fact, like a lot of the bands hang out for the weekend. Like Alabama 3, I know they came and they hung out. They're famous for having too much fun, but they hung out for a bit too long at the festival. They had a really good time. Yeah, we've had a few famous people. I'm trying to think. That's you've caught me a bit off there.
No,
so, sorry, we have done it. We have done this.
What's
we have
next
done this live. What next? Well, so we're. I think like I said to you when I first came on, I think I don't want to. I've thought long and hard about this because it is Eastnor Castle. You could grow. I think the Big Chill was like 45,000 people.
Wow, that's a big festival. Yeah,
and one, I don't want to put myself through that. But two, I don't want to ruin what we've built, which is a beautiful, intimate thing, that's under control and nice, and everyone. So I think as I was saying to you, Green Man use that as kind of the model. 25,000 people, sell out very quickly. Keep it fair, keep it in, and just have a comfortable, knowing exactly where you are. So you're not gambling. You know you're going to sell that many tickets at that price. There's your costs, and you take the risk out of it rather than keep pushing higher and higher, which is what we've had to do because a festival doesn't work. You've got to get to a critical mass to make it work. You have to, otherwise you're just pissing into the wind, honestly.
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, I've got a tally of swear words here.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's a record, which is great. I like it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Well, no.
Look, again, we no sponsors, independent. We just mark it as explicit, and off we go. We've moved on.
Good. Yeah, no, that's something at Lakefest we don't have either. Really, we've never had like a sponsor. The Western Cider, because they're down the road. They give us a good price on their Stofords, and they're like probably our headline sponsor, if you like. But we don't. We're not commercial in that sense. We've never really done that. It's just not what we've ever done.
I talk about the feel of a festival a lot, and I'm not entirely sure what that means. But the commercialisation of it and the sponsors do affect the feel of it.
Massively. I'm not going to mention it because I said to you when I came on, I'm not going to bad mouth anyone, but I go to a lot of festivals just to see it, and I just go completely independent, just have a look. And I went to a couple last year. It's just like going to High Street Kensington, some of them, you know, it's just like, what the fuck's this? Who the hell wants to come and who the hell wants to spend all that money coming to something like this? It's not like Lakefest it's in an area of outstanding natural beauty, and it's properly nice and curated. Do you know what I mean? Like we it's really, there's an attention to detail, and we don't have Costa coffee, you know, we don't have high street chains and stuff like that there. We don't have a Waitrose shop and stuff like this. It's just not what we do. We have a hippie guy that comes selling his stuff that's all independent, do you know what I mean? And someone selling crazy clothes. It's weird. And luckily, I know you said we don't want to talk about Glastonbury, because we don't want to talk about Glastonbury, but Glastonbury hasn't gone that way, really. Nah, the G funk. No, but Glastonbury still, although it has changed a lot, it's still, you know, it's still got a very independent feel to it, isn't it? And I'm very keen to ensure that we stay that way. You know, like I want it to be independent. It's really important because there isn't many independent ones left. You know,
yeah. It starts making me sad when I start seeing like brand name presents and then the festival. I'm like, no, it's like really starts being quite upsetting. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's like it doesn't feel the same.
The festival awards are on.
It's tomorrow night, right? I'm going.
There's the Brand Activation Award, and I think that says a lot for the way festivals are going. And, you know, I think one of the nominees is Land Rover at Lost Village. And you think, that's not what I remember Lost Village being about, how they activated Land Rover.
We made this joke last time, Bill, didn't we? It was like, what's next? Le Creuset presents Latitude. Like, when does it stop? Like,
they are the guys at Shambhala again. We talked earlier. The Shambhala I went to on a recommendation said you must go and see this thing. It's the real deal. It's the one that you want to aspire to be. And I went to that and I was blown away. That actually made me feel really like shit. I'm running a shit show compared with this, because it's that good, isn't it? And they're just light years ahead of anyone else. But that said, you know, when I went to Glastonbury this year, I was like, fuck, I thought I'd done all right for myself with my little thing, but this is on a different scale. It's massive, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, but I don't want to go to 4 Glastonbury equivalents every year. So I ended my festival at End of the Road. And it's beautiful, 15,000 people. Lammetry Gardens is an amazing site. There was dozens of bands I didn't know. There's a pleasure in that, and there's a pleasure in not knowing and exposing yourself to... sorry, not pleasure in exposing yourself.
Mate, come on.
There's a pleasure in being exposed to new music. It's not that kind of festival.
That was brilliant. You might have to edit that bit.
I think Bill wants to be in that wrestling tent next year.
I'm done. Tilly, you roll with it. I don't even know what point I was trying to make.
Neither do I. But yeah, there's definitely a space for smaller festivals. I think that's where you were going with that one.
Oh God!
That's a great place to end it.
It is. I think it's
on that bombshell.
Thank you very much for joining, Lee. This has been fascinating.
You're very kind. Thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
It's so interesting. Thank you so much.
So there's still tickets available for Lakefest. I'll put a link in the show notes. Amazing lineup to be expected if the previous years are to go off. Wish you all the best for the festival season.
Fingers crossed for a second year or continuous years where nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We've got a good lineup, and we announce it on the 14th of January.